Rain pounded the marble steps. Red and blue light spilled from a distant ambulance. Clara pressed her soaked gown against a cold stone balustrade. Her breath tasted like fear. Wind sliced through the empty courtyard. A lone raven cawed from the broken fountain. She clutched a silver mask in trembling fingers. Behind its filigree hid her trembling secret. Footsteps echoed on slick stone. Clara's pulse thundered in her ears. Lightning split the sky. Thunder swallowed her scream. She edged toward the grand oak doors. Each creak felt like a rebuke. Cordelia, manners, chandeliers glowed dimly through arched windows. Music floated, distant and haunting. Her silk heels slipped. Pain bit her ankle. Someone watched from the shadowed colonnade. Clara forced herself upright. Her chest heaved. A letter stuck to her bodice. Ink blurred in the rain. He who had promised love had written warnings instead. She blinked back tears. The message stung with betrayal. Footsteps quickened behind her. She spun, mask raised. Rain dripped from its edges. A black-clad figure lunged through the columned arch. Clara darted inside. Doors slammed shut. Silence. She pressed her back against carved walnut paneling. Heart hammering. She searched the candlelit hall. Masked guests swirled in a danse macabre. Her stolen breath echoed among strangers. Music swelled. Crystal glasses clinked. Laughter rang hollow. She lifted her mask. Only then did she see him across the ballroom, beneath a golden chandelier. He held his own mask to his face. His eyes, locked onto hers. Clara's blood ran cold. His gaze burned with questions, and something darker. She took a trembling step backward. A crash from the balcony above drew every eye upward. A chandelier snapped loose. Crystal rained down. Clara's ribs jolted as a chandelier shard struck the banister beside her shoulder. Screams rose. Music screeched to silence. He sprang forward. His gloved hand shot out. Time slowed. Clara's world narrowed to his outstretched arm and her own pounding heart. Then darkness and the world tilted as strong fingers closed around her wrist. Clara, he breathed urgently. Thunder rolled. She looked up into eyes she never expected to see. Asterisk. Clara Bennett woke to dawn light, filtering through linen curtains. A soft breeze carried cicadas' hum through her Brooklyn brownstone. She rose, bare feet, cold on oak floorboards. Her apartment smelled of freshly brewed coffee. She padded into the kitchen. Steam curled from a mismatched mug. Morning, Clara. Her phone chimed with her sister's text. Her sister Marissa worked nights at Bellevue Hospital. Clara smiled despite exhaustion. She poured cream into her coffee. She stared at the chipped sink. Her life felt routine. She worked as a junior art curator at the Metropolitan Museum. Her cubicle overflowed with sketches of Venetian masks. She arranged late deadlines and budget cuts daily. Her boss praised her creativity, really her timeliness. She ran Wednesday painting classes at a nearby community center. Children's laughter filled her weekends. Clara's parents lived in upstate New York. They ran a flower farm outside Ithaca. She called them every Sunday at noon. They worried she worked too hard. Her father's gentle voice soothed her. Her mother's laughter curled through the line. Still, Clara felt a constant ache. Her fiancé Nathan had vanished last autumn. He'd left no note, no goodbye. Her right hand still bore his gold band. She stared at it each morning. Where did you go? She wondered daily. She walked to the museum on 34th Street. Yellow taxis honked. Street vendors shouted over sizzling falafel. A spray of traffic light blinked. She crossed at the corner near Herald Square. Inside the Met, marble pillars gleamed under clear-story windows. She greeted security guards by name. She unlocked the East Wing doors. Faint echoes of tourists drifted through galleries. She reviewed her schedule for the upcoming Masquerade-themed exhibit. Her heart tightened at the reminder of Nathan's passion for masks. At her small desk, she found a sealed envelope. No return address. Her name scrawled in black ink. Her pulse raced. She tore it open. Inside, a single Polaroid, a woman's eyes behind a silver mask, and a date, October 31st. Clara's breath caught. Could it be him? Her fingers trembled. She sensed danger lurking in that image. Clara, you okay? Called Jenna, her colleague. Clara forced a smile. Just early exhibit jitters. She lied, but her chest tightened with questions. Who sent the photo? And what did it mean for the ball, and for her missing heart? End teaser. Clara slipped the photo into her coat pocket. Her reflection in The gallery glass flickered, masked light. She didn't yet know whose eyes she'd meet next and what secrets they held. Asterisk, asterisk, a week before Halloween. Clara's inbox pinged at midnight. Subject line, your mask awaits. No sender address. She clicked the email. A PDF invitation glowed on her screen. Masquerade Ball, it read in elegant script. Date, time, and venue. Cordelia Manor at midnight. An attached image showed. Her silver masks streaked with fresh rainwater. Her pulse stuttered. She hadn't worn that mask publicly since Nathan vanished. She double-checked the attachment. The mask in the photo looked identical to hers. Footsteps approached her desk. Jenna peeked around the doorframe. You staying late again? Clara hid the screen. Just wrapping up notes. She lied. Jenna left with a wave. Clara stared at the invite. Her thumb hovered over accept. A second email arrived instantly. Subject, look closer. She opened it. Inside, a grainy video clip. A lone figure placed her mask on a marble pedestal. He whispered Nathan's name. Clara's breath hitched. Her vision tunneled. She replayed the clip. The figure's voice was muffled by the mask's filigree. She heard one clear word. Come. She backed away from the desk. Her heart pounded. Like a drum, she grabbed her phone. She dialed her sister. No answer. She tried again. Voicemail. She hesitated, then left a terse message. Marissa, call me. Urgent. A cold draft snaked around her ankles. The gallery's lights flickered. Her computer screen went black. An automated chime announced a system shutdown. Clara cursed under her breath. She shut her laptop and gathered her coat. Rain blurred the city streets. She pulled her hood low. Marissa still hadn't called back. Clara's worry curdled into dread. At her brownstone steps, she noticed a folded note wedged in her door. She pried it free. In Nathan's handwriting, the truth will be unmasked. Her hand shook as she read those words. Cold sweat beaded on her brow. She ran down the street. A black SUV idled at the corner. Its headlights swallowed her reflection. She darted to a taxi stand. The SUV's engine growled behind her. She climbed into a waiting cab. Through the rear window, she glimpsed the SUV accelerate. Its taillights vanished into the rain. Clara pressed her forehead against the glass. Who wants me at Cordelia Manor? Her mind raced. She fished the PDF invitation from her purse. The venue address blurred through trembling fingers. The cab driver glanced back. Heading to Cordelia, Miss Clara met his eyes. Please, she whispered. Her voice cracked. A bolt of lightning lit the skyline. Cordelia Manor's silhouette rose against thunderous clouds. Clara swallowed fear. She gripped the invitation. This is where I'll find answers or danger. Asterisk, asterisk. Clara stepped from the cab onto soggy gravel. A masked footman guided her across lantern-lit grounds. Her shoes sank into wet grass. Distant thunder rolled like a warning. Inside, masked guests whispered behind silk fans. Candles flickered in. Gilded sconces, a string quartet played a haunting waltz. Clara clutched her silver mask tighter. A man in a horned mask brushed past. His perfume smelled of wet earth. He leaned close, enjoying the hunt. He murmured. His voice carried a troubling edge. Clara's pulse jumped. She scanned the crowd for familiar faces. Only strangers stared behind their masks. A shadow flickered. Near a marble statue, Clara approached slowly. A black-cloaked figure slipped away. She followed. Heart-pounding. In a side hall, she found fresh footprints on a Persian rug. They led to a curtained archway. She peered inside. A spiral staircase wound upward. Rain dripped from a broken chandelier. She climbed, each creaking step echoing in silence. On the landing, she spotted faint scrawls on the wall. Find me before midnight. She traced the letters with trembling fingers. A breeze stirred her hair. Footsteps sounded below. She ducked behind a column. Resplendent masks drifted past. Among them, a tall figure in a raven mask. His cloak swirled like ink. He paused beneath her hiding spot. Clara held her breath. He lifted a slender finger to his lips, then dropped a blood-red rose on the floor. He turned and vanished into the crowd. Clara picked up the rose, petals slick with rainwater. She smelled something sharp beneath the sweet scent. A tiny key lay taped to the stem. She slipped the key into her pocket. Questions raced through her mind. Who set this trap? And why use her heart's gift as bait? She hurried back to the ballroom center. A masked woman in a sapphire gown approached. Ms. Bennett, she said, voice calm as polished marble. I'm Lillian Cross. I've been waiting for you. Clara's throat went dry. "How do you know me?" Lillian tilted her head. "Secrets bind us all here tonight." Before Clara could reply, the lights dimmed. Music slowed to a mournful dirge. A hush fell over the guests. A towering figure in a gold skull mask climbed onto the dais. He raised a jeweled dagger overhead. Gasps echoed around the room. Heart seized. She recognized the blade's ornate handle. Nathan had sketched it once. The masked figure slit his wrist and let crimson droplets fall into a crystal chalice. He spoke. "Only truth will save her heart." Clara's breath hitched. Her legs trembled as dread coiled in her chest. She gripped Lillian's arm. "Who is he?" she whispered. Lillian's sapphire eyes glinted. "He is the Raven, and he will test your love." Asterisk. Clara woke at dawn, muscles aching from last night's fear. She met Lillian in a converted Brooklyn warehouse. Sunlight slanted through dusty windows. Heavy mats covered the concrete floor. Rows of punching bags swayed gently. Lillian adjusted Clara's gloves. "Focus on your breath," she said. Clara inhaled sharply, then exhaled slow. Her knuckles pressed into leather. Each punch echoed in the cavernous room. Lillian demonstrated a precise jab. She moved with silent power. Clara mirrored her stance. Her first punch missed by inches. Red welts bloomed on her knuckles. "Again," Lillian urged softly. Clara nodded and reset her feet. This time her jab landed true. Leather thudded against bag. Clara's surprise gave way to exhilaration. Next, Lillian guided Clara to a shooting range. Targets lined the far wall. Clara loaded a handgun with shaking hands. She aimed at the distant bull's eye. Her pulse thundered in her ears. Lillian stood beside her. "Steady your vision," she whispered. Clara squeezed the trigger. The shot cracked like thunder. Bullet struck just below the center. Clara's shoulders relaxed. She took a deep breath. "Again," Lillian said. Clara fired twice more. Each shot edged closer to the mark. After the range, they moved to a rooftop terrace. Lillian taught Clara simple evasive rolls. Wind whipped against her wet hair. Concrete scraped her palms as she rolled. Lillian called corrections in a calm tone. Clara rose, breathing hard. Her heart pounded, but her eyes shone. She felt stronger than she had in months. During breaks, Lillian shared her story. She had been a military medic in Kansas. War had taught her courage under fire. She'd traded battlefields for Cordelia Manor's secrets. Clara listened, absorbing. Each word she realized her fear was narrowing into focus. Her lost heart felt steadier in her chest. Lillian asked Clara about Nathan. Clara described his gentle kindness. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Lillian nodded, understanding grief's hidden strength. As afternoon faded, they returned to the warehouse. Lillian set up a small obstacle course. Wooden crates formed low walls. Clara dashed, vaulted, and ducked under beams. She stumbled once, then found her rhythm. At the course's end, Lillian pressed a stopwatch. "Time yourself," she instructed. Clara sprinted the course in under 30 seconds. Her chest heaved. Grin cracked her rain-soaked face. "Good," Lillian said, voice warm. "Trust your body and instincts." Clara nodded, feeling empowered. Night fell. As Clara left the warehouse, she paused under a flickering street lamp. Her fists bore fresh bruises. Her mind felt razor-sharp. Clara retrieved the tiny key from her pocket. It felt colder now, promising answers. She tucked it back, determination flickering. "I can face him now," she thought. Her reflection in a taxi window smiled back. "But the Raven still hunts me." Clara climbed home with purpose. Her fear had transformed into resolve. Yet a dark storm gathered on the horizon and she was ready to fight. Clara returned to the museum at midnight. Moonlight filtered through stained glass. She crept past locked display cases. Her gloved hand held the tiny key. She found the masked exhibit's pedestal. A hidden drawer waited beneath. The key slipped smoothly into the lock. With a click, the drawer popped open. Inside lay a faded photograph. Nathan stood beside Lillian, both smiling. The date scrawled across the back. 2 years ago. Her breath caught. She recognized Lillian's uniform in the photo. They'd trained together at the range. Lillian's gentle eyes now felt sharp. Betrayal's chill crawled up Clara's spine. Footsteps echoed behind her. Clara spun, heart hammering. Lillian emerged from the shadows. Her mask removed, faced grim. "You shouldn't have seen that," Lillian said. Her voice trembled with false calm. Clara clutched the photo. "Why didn't you tell me?" Lillian's jaw tightened. "He was my brother," she whispered. Clara staggered back. Lillian's secret stabbed her. "Your brother," Clara echoed. Lillian nodded, eyes glistening. "Nathan and I joined Cordelia's cause," she confessed. Clara's chest seized. "The Raven tests our loyalty," Lillian said. Clara shook her head. "But Nathan disappeared to protect you." Lillian's tears fell silent. Clara's trust shattered like glass. She stepped forward, fury blazing. "How could you hide this?" Lillian raised her hands. "I loved him like a sister," she said. "But duty forced our choices." Clara pressed the photograph to her chest. "I risked everything for him." Lillian's lips quivered. "You risked more than you know." Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness. Alarms blared through marble halls. Red lights flashed on columns. A voice crackled over speakers. "Time is almost up." The Raven's tone was cold. Clara spun. A hidden door yawned open. Beyond, a narrow corridor beckoned. Lillian grabbed Clara's arm. "We must run together," she urged. Clara hesitated, betrayal raw, but the alarm's urgency won her over. They fled through torchlit passages. Their footsteps pounded on stone. They reached a spiral staircase. Smoke curled from the floor above. Clara coughed, vision blurred. Lillian led her downward. "There's another way out." Her grip felt both warm and uncertain. They burst into a rain-soaked courtyard. Lightning flashed across skeletal trees. The mansion's windows glared like eyes. Behind them, the Raven's laughter rang out. Clara froze. He stepped onto the balcony above. His mask gleamed like bone. "Trust is as fragile as a mask," he called. His dagger glinted in torchlight. Clara's breath hitched. She turned to Lillian. "Help me now," she whispered. Eyes flickered with conflict. Her hand hovered over Clara's. "Can I forgive her?" Clara wondered. Asterisk, asterisk. Clara's heart pounded as rain lashed the courtyard. The Raven's dagger caught torchlight. His laughter echoed off stone walls. Lillian stepped between them. Her hand trembled on Clara's shoulder. "Stay back," Clara warned. The Raven descended. The balcony steps. Each footfall dripped with menace. "Your love will save her, or condemn her," he taunted. Clara squared her shoulders. She drew a hidden knife from her boot. Steel met torchlight in her grip. He lunged forward. Clara sidestepped. Blade grazing his cloak. Torn fabric fluttered to the gravel. Lillian circled to flank him. Together, they pressed the Raven back. He snarled beneath his mask. Clara's breath stuttered. Memories of Nathan's laugh spurred her on. She slashed at the dagger he held. The weapon clattered across the stones. He staggered, masked askew. Clara lunged to disarm him fully. He caught her wrist with surprising strength. Pain flared through her arm. Lillian tackled him from behind. They crashed against a marble urn. Cracked stones sprayed like shattered ice. The Raven roared and twisted free. He raced toward the manor's main doors. Clara and Lillian gave chase. Inside, halls ran with flickering candlelight. Guests had fled in panic. Broken mirrors reflected their frantic pursuit. The Raven shoved aside ornate tapestries. A hidden passage yawned in the wall. He slipped inside. Clara hesitated at the threshold. Lillian grabbed her hand. They plunged into darkness together. The corridor narrowed between damp stones. Their footsteps echoed like falling rain. Dripping water formed rings on the floor. They pressed forward, breath ragged and loud. At the corridor's end, a trapdoor lay concealed. The Raven's taunting voice drifted above. Clara heaved the door open. Below, a ladder plunged into shadows. She and Lillian exchanged a determined glance. They climbed. The ladder spat them into a flooded cellar. Cold water lapped at their knees. Floodlights flickered on broken wiring. The Raven's silhouette appeared at the hatch. He raised his dagger again. Clara brandished her knife. Lillian readied her stance. Lightning cracked through a barred window. Water splashed over crates of old bottles. Clara spotted a rusted pipe above. She nodded to Lillian. They lunged in unison. Clara grabbed the Raven's arm. Lillian swung at the pipe. Metal met stone with a ringing crash. The pipe bent, releasing a spray of murky water. The Raven yelped, staggered back. Clara freed her arm and kicked him toward the ladder. He clung to the rungs, face masked in fury. Clara and Lillian scrambled up as water surged behind them. They slammed the trapdoor shut. Above, the hatch gave way under the water's pressure. Cracks spidered through the wood. They shoved a heavy crate on top, sealing the Raven below. Silence fell. broken only by the cellar's rising tide. Clara sank against the hatch, soaked and trembling. Lillian wrapped an arm around her. They climbed out onto the gravel drive. Dawn's pale light crept across the sky. Cordelia Manor loomed silent and empty. Clara slid to her knees in the mud. She pressed her hand to her aching ribs. The dagger lay half buried in crushed gravel. She picked it up, blood dark and filthy. Lillian knelt beside her. "He can't follow now," she said softly. Clara nodded, voice raw. "Let's go home." They walked away as sirens wailed in the distance. The storm clouds broke, sunlight touching the manor's spires. Clara clutched the dagger like proof of her newfound strength. "I survived the Raven's test," she thought, "and I will uncover every secret he buried." ****. Clara watched dawn break over misty lawns. She and Lillian walked toward the main gates. Sirens faded behind them. At the museum next morning, Clara met Marissa. Her sister's hug felt like home. Tears fell freely this time. Marissa held a steaming coffee. "That was insane," she whispered. Clara nodded, voice soft. "It's over now." They drove to the flower farm in silence. Rows of peonies bent under early light. Clara inhaled their sweet perfume. Her parents greeted her with open arms. Her father's rough hand patted her back. Her mother kissed her damp hair. Clara placed the dagger on the kitchen table. Her mother gasped. "I thought that was just a legend," she said. Clara shrugged, offering a small smile. Later, Clara returned to the Met. She unlocked the east wing doors. Marble pillars gleamed in the afternoon sun. She approached the masked exhibit. The hidden drawer stood empty now. She closed it gently. She pinned the faded photograph to her gallery corkboard. Nathan's smile reminded her of hope. She folded the PDF invitation into a frame. Clara's colleagues applauded her safe return. Jenna hugged her warmly. "You were brave," Jenna said. Clara led a private tour of the Masquerade display. She spoke with clear joy and confidence. Guests admired her passion. That evening, Clara stood on her Brooklyn rooftop. Wind stirred loose strands of hair. She lifted her silver mask. She gazed at the city's skyline. Lights shimmered like lost stars. Her reflection smiled back. She texted Lillian, "Dinner tomorrow." Seconds later, Lillian replied, "Looking forward to it." Clara's chest fluttered with warmth. She slipped the mask into her coat pocket. "My heart is whole again," she thought. As night fell, she heard distant music. A lone violin played on a street corner. Clara followed the melody. She found a masked street musician under a lamppost. He played a soft, longing tune. Clara sat on a nearby bench. He looked up and revealed kind eyes. She offered a gentle nod. The music spoke of new beginnings. Clara closed her eyes and breathed deep. Rain began to fall, light and warm. She smiled, unmasked. "Every mask hides a story," she mused, "but some stories deserve to be shared." In her hand, the silver mask felt like promise. Under the lampost's glow, Clara whispered, "Here's to unmasking whatever comes next."